Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be reading about another Australian animal, and that animal is kangaroos. So, before we get started, let's think about why we are reading about kangaroos. So, our big essential question that we're working to answer is what makes the world fascinating? And so, if something is fascinating, it means it's really interesting. So, we are taking a look at different continents and we're looking at the different animals that are unique and special to those continents. So, last week we learned about some animals that live in Asia. This week we are learning all about animals that live in Australia. So, let's get started learning about kangaroos. The title of this book is My Favorite Animal, Kangaroos. My favorite animals are kangaroos. Would you like to learn about them? Kangaroos are the largest marsupial. There are three main species of kangaroo: the red kangaroo, the eastern gray kangaroo, and the western gray kangaroo. Like all marsupials, kangaroos have a pouch on their bellies that is used to carry their young. So remember, we learned about that yesterday because koalas are marsupials and wombats are too. Kangaroos live in Australia, Tasmania, and New Guinea, as well as on surrounding islands. They live in many different types of environments like grassy plains, savannas, woodland areas, and forests. Kangaroos have very powerful hind legs, that means their back legs, small and short front legs, and a long and powerful tail. And so here's a picture of a mama carrying her baby. Red kangaroos are the tallest kangaroo and stand over 6 feet tall. So that's taller than me, guys. They can travel more than 30 miles an hour. That's a lot faster than I can go. They can hop forward up to 30 feet in a single bound and jump up to 9 feet high. Wow. They live 8 to 12 years. That's their lifespan. Do you remember where do kangaroos live? Ooh, let's see if we can remember that one. On land, kangaroos move their hind legs together, but in the water, they move them independently. That means by themselves. They use their tails for balance while hopping and jumping. Kangaroos are the only large animal that hops to get around. That's a very neat fact. Kangaroos graze on grasses, ferns, leaves, moss, flowers, nuts, berries, and even insects. They can survive long periods of time without water. Oh, that's kind of similar to the koala that we learned about yesterday. And so if they're grazing, that means they're kind of just like always eating and looking for food, kind of like how cows graze on grass. Kangaroos live and travel in groups called troops, courts, or herds. The Australian called these groups mobs. These groups can be as small as 3 to 4 or as large as 100. Very cool. Do you remember what do kangaroos like to eat? Oop, we'll see at the end of the book if we're right. Male kangaroos are called boomers, jacks, or bucks. Females are called jills, flyers, or does. Young ones are called joeys. If threatened or scared, kangaroos stomp on the ground with their large feet as a warning. Kangaroos will kick and sometimes bite. Joeys are only 1 inch long at birth, about the size of a grape or a lima bean. Oh, kind of like a koala. For the first 4 months, joeys live in the safety of the thick fur of their mother's pouches, feeding on her milk. A joey will jump into its mother's pouch head first when frightened. When the joey is then ready to leave its mother's pouch, it begins to graze on grasses. At about 10 months, the joey has matured and leaves its mother's pouch permanently. There are more kangaroos than humans in Australia. The kangaroo is the national symbol of Australia and appears on money, postage stamps, and airplanes. Do you remember what do Australians call a group of kangaroos? What's your favorite thing about kangaroos? So they told us a lot of fun facts about kangaroos. Oh, let's go back one page. See, did you remember? So the answer to question one, where do they live? Australia and Tasmania, as well as on the surrounding islands. Question two, what do they eat? Grasses, ferns, leaves, moss, flowers, nuts, berries, and even insects. Question three, Australians call a group of kangaroos a mob. And then like any other nonfiction text, there is a glossary in the back of the book, and a glossary helps define words that we might not have known. So it helps us define first the word joey, and a joey is the name of a baby kangaroo. A mob, which is the Australian word for a group of kangaroos. A pouch, which is a pocket of skin on the stomach of a kangaroo. Woodland, which is land covered with woods or trees. And troops, which is a group of kangaroos that travel around. All right, you guys, thanks for coming and learning more about kangaroos with me, and I look forward to seeing you later.